Springfield, New York, Springfield, New Jersey, Springfield, Idaho, Maine, Springfield, Kansas, Springfield, Arkansas. The reason that the town in The Simpsons is called Springfield is because there's a Springfield in every state. Now, I'm pretty sure there's a Springfield in like every county, which is attributed to the fact of what I believe The Simpsons are, or is. Back in the day, and still practiced today, a little bit more, getting popular now, is sigil magic. What is a sigil magic? Sigil magic is essentially you projecting your thoughts, or your intentions actually, onto a piece of paper or something that is written, sort of like this. So let's say, for example, I want to make a sigil, and I want to make a wish come true, basically. And I am weightless. Right? I am weightless. That is going to be my sigil. Because I want to fly. So I am weightless. What you will do here is then, well, hang on a second. How can I flip this? So let's do I am weightless. This is what you want to achieve. My cat wins the Olympics. I am weightless. Whatever you want. There's a couple of different ways to go about this. Some say to cross out the vowels first, and most say to cross out the doubles. So, for instance, I and I would be crossed out. A would stay, M would stay, W would stay, E and E would cross out. GHTL would stay, and SS would cross out. So, A, M, W, G, H, T, L is what's left. Then there's a certain way to go about this in a box of numbers like this. Each number adds up to 15 no matter how you do it. And the letters represent the numbers. So the letters are given quadrants, right? So this would be like A, B, C, whatever. And then you see A, for example, right? M, W, and if say G was in the same, G, H, T, L. Where the sigil starts, you draw a circle. Where the sigil ends, you draw a thingy. And then essentially you just redraw the pattern. So go down here, a little loopy down, boom, 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 and then it'll be that. So that would essentially be your sigil to I am weightless, hypothetically speaking. That's not the actual sigil to I am weightless. I'm just saying. I don't remember what the quadrants are for the numbers, but that would be it. And what happens is it comes true because you projected your intention and you really have to want it to happen and you want it to go down. You want to be weightless. You project it into that piece of paper or a talisman or a piece of wood, whatever you write it on. Essentially, a sigil is magic. Now, if I wanted to create real life situations, complex things that happened, I would need a lot more power than just me sitting and writing on a table with chalk. I would need a bunch of people making the same sigil, which is why witches and Wiccans and stuff, warlocks, they have covens because they all project their all intentions into one sigil, and that one is given more power, and so on and so forth. And once one is granted, then they move on to the next, and they're helping each other out in this grandiose scheme of things. The Simpsons are notorious for predicting the future. Well, see, I don't think they're predicting anything. I think that the desired future or desired events that are supposed to happen or that are needed to happen by whoever it is, if it's the guy that's drawing them, the guy creating them, the guy writing, or his boss, because everyone does have a boss, essentially. He's writing these sigils in a form of cartoons. And now, that's easy to do, because if you think about it, like little squiggly line that I made right there, you could map that into a cartoon. Hell, you could map sigils into a painting, if you look about it. If you look at this painting right here, there's a distinct line that goes like that. You follow the cars, here, here, up here. Those aren't random. The guy, Saul Steinberg, he doesn't just draw cars because, there's a reason for the cars to be there. Some call it aesthetic presentation, some call it this and that, but if you really think about it, all art is essentially a sigil because it's self-projection, right? So how you represent yourself, self-expression. How you express yourself in the form of art is essentially what you're saying. And whatever you're expressing through yourself, through your self-expression or through your art is your sigil because you're intending on that going in. So if I wanted something to happen, if I needed something to happen, if it would be lucrative for me if something happened at a specific day, at a specific time, I would gather as many people as I can and I would ask them to help me with my sigil. I would show them the sigil and I'd be, this is it. Everyone put your intentions into it to make it happen. Well, some people might not understand what I'm talking about. Some people might just be confused, but I would still need their help. So I would say, listen, if you don't know what the intention is, just give me your best energy. Think of your most happiest moment where you're content and everything is just joyful, right? And project that feeling onto the sigil if you don't want to be specific. So essentially the strongest energy we have is gratitude, is love, obviously joy, and one of the worst is shame. Low vibrational energy, low vibrational energy is shame. So if I drew a cartoon and aired it at a really, really prime time and made it funny so that most people that saw it laugh at it, not really understanding what it is, other than the fact that it's a cartoon, they would be contributing their best or strongest energy into my sigil. Millions and millions and millions of people. So, to tell you the truth, I think that we are making the episodes of The Simpsons happen. We see them, we laugh at them, and normally we wouldn't manifest anything like this because it's just whatever, we're not vibing with that much. But little do we know that it's a sigil, and it's a spell created for us to vibe. It pulls the vibrations from us into it and projects it onto reality. That it that I'm talking about, that's the it that nobody can prove. That's the it that makes that little piece of paper move. It's actually fallen down now. I don't know how the fuck it's fallen down, but it's down. It's airtight, for Christ's sakes. I haven't moved the table. That it is this something that nudges you to get an umbrella when it's not raining in the morning, and then later on it is, and you're like, wow, how did I know to grab that umbrella? Well, that it. The scientists don't like to explain things like this because scientists like scientific method, which is very, very reliable, and it is concrete. But it doesn't really give too much room for gray area, nor should it. So, for instance, if I wanted to prove telekinesis to a group of scientists that were offering $1 million to anyone that does, I would come into a laboratory and there would be a craps table without the numbers on it. Somebody would give me dice and say, roll this dice and make it land on 5. Now, I can barely move a piece of paper like this much. There's no way I could take a fucking dice that's already in motion and there's no way. Well, then you can't do telekinesis. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I can't. I'm not Magneto. I can't lift cars. But you can't explain why that paper moved. Even a little bit. The thing is, there's a dude on TikTok that does it too. He's like, if you make this paper go twice around clockwise, I'll give you $100. Which is great. I love $100. But he's not going to let me do it the way I do it because it's got to be his way. Can't touch the paper. You got to sit away from the paper. And everyone's going to be watching you. So it's it really puts you, for you to be successful in the scientific method and proving something, you got to be on the money. There's going to be irrefutable evidence that what you're saying is the truth, which is kind of hard to prove in the Simpson sigil case or in any case that revolves the supernatural, because as we're beginning to find out slowly, there's a lot of things that we don't know. In fact, there's more shit that we don't know than we do know about this whole quantum physics, magical realm stuff. And the funny thing is that we, all this time, as human scientists, these smart people, we're talking about these religious, spiritual people, spiritual believers, spiritual leaders. And you guys don't know shit. What the fuck are you talking about? Gravity. You're talking ethereal material, rainbow body. You guys don't know shit. But that's really funny because we didn't know shit. And the more we discovered in science, because technology allowed us to do so, the more we discovered that what they're saying is actually kind of on the money. It's more so on the money than what we can describe these supernatural instances to be. So how is it that these spiritual leaders that don't have this technology and never had this technology and just knew all this stuff and have been telling us very, very humbly, like, from a humble standpoint, like, hey, this is not what the thing is, that you're all focused on the wrong stuff, like telling you, and shut up, what the fuck do you know? You sit here with your legs crossed and you fucking pray for you sit there and what do you call it, meditation? Yes, well, as it turns out, crossing your legs is a way to synchronize your brain hemispheres. When this arm passes this line, this part of the brain controls it now. So when you cross, you're kind of making them both work in unison, which is where hemispheric synchronization, binaural beats, astral projection, all that stuff comes from. But we didn't know that until we started looking at the brain. And now we do. And now we're like, wow, crossing your feet would be the best way to exercise that part of your brain. Oh, Mr. Guru has been sitting there for 70 years telling you this, before computers were invented, before any of this was fucking here. You know what I mean? People give up everything and go to, Shaolin monasteries. They get a laptop, they get a MacBook. Why? Well, because they have technology, but they use technology for what it's meant to, as a tool to help communicate and advance, not as a tool to become lazy and stagnant. And that is why the Simpsons are able to project whatever the fuck they want onto their cartoons, and at 8 o'clock, they know that half of the country, if not the whole country, is going to turn on the TV and is going to help them manifest their reality into actuality. So look for sigils, guys. There's a reason that the runes that of the old and the witches and all that stuff, first of all, there's a reason that they're talked about, that there's folklore about them. Second of all, there's a reason that people could still read them, like they're still available. There's certain things that aren't available, like you can't get me the Vatican. Vatican's got a little journal down there. Can't get me that. Can't get me what's written in there, but you can give me runes. Why? Because runes aren't very powerful, but they are if there's enough energy put into them from different people. Which is why I believe the Simpsons are predicting the future.